I'm Paul Majors.
I'm Kirsten Lindquist. Coming up tonight on News 11, the DNR takes to the air to put out a rash of grass fires as dry conditions turn dangerous.
Farm buildings go up in smoke in a blaze tonight. We'll have a team report on a fiery day.
Hold-up scenes were repeated again and again as Minneapolis police round up a robber.
And the beloved belugas see some of their last visitors as their days at the zoo are numbered.
News 11 is next.
In today's world, good reasons can help you make the best choices.
We believe you deserve to know the facts clearly, to understand events, and meet people who have an impact on you and your community every day.
We have to earn your confidence by examining the issues that are important to you.
News 11 and NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Together we cover the world with the Twin Cities in mind.
95% of Chevy Nova owners would recommend their new Nova to a friend. If that doesn't mean much to you, think about this. Of the cars you've owned, how many would you recommend to a friend? New Chevy Nova. Instead of showing you all of the things you can get with the new Chevy Nova, we thought we'd show you one of the things you can't get.
You're looking at the most fuel-efficient vehicle in America. Its fuel supply is inexpensive and inexhaustible. You see, this vehicle doesn't use this fuel. It hauls it away. The fuel is trash, and it's a new source of electricity NSP has developed to help keep your electric rates low. Creative energy. NSP.
Now, the Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11. With Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reither on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
The scene firefighters dread: burning grass fueled by tender dry conditions, gusty winds, and human carelessness. It was a scene repeated time and time again over the last few hours. Fast-spreading fires and charred destruction. Good evening. Diana Pierce has the night off. A fiery day tops tonight's News 11.
A series of fires, some of them still smoldering tonight, kept dozens of firefighters busy for hours.
The fiery day began this afternoon when strong winds fed the flames. Around the metro area, there were 4 major fires. The first grassland blaze broke out at 1:30 in Blaine, just west of 35W. An hour later in Brooklyn Park, another grass fire in the area of 102nd and Zane. And just 5 minutes later, yet another fire in Plymouth near highways 55 and 18, this one burning for hours. Then just after 5 tonight, the most destructive fire of the day started in some hay at a farm between Chaska and Cologne. We begin our team report in Plymouth with News 11's Norm Schroeder.
It is still anybody's guess how the fire started in the swamp between Plymouth and Medicine Lake. Somehow, the flames erupted about 2:30 this afternoon. The fire spread unpredictably, the wind first blowing to the north, then to the southeast. Then it spread quickly. The dried out reeds in the swamp, just the kind of fuel that the fire needed. About the only thing firefighters from 5 cities could do was struggle to keep the blaze from spreading to nearby homes. They did by surrounding the swamp and then letting a state helicopter douse the flames from the air. 2 hours later, the fire was under control. The only loss, about 160 acres of grass and brush. Tonight, firefighters are cautioning people who live in the area to keep an eye on it. The firefighters warn the grass still is smoldering in spots, and there's still a lot of grass to burn. Another major grass fire kept crews on full alert in Blaine. News 11's Alan Costantini was there.
A part of Blaine was battling for survival and losing when Sky 11 surveyed the front lines after 2 this afternoon. Flames erupted in dry grass near 101st Avenue and Xylite. A brisk wind whipped the fire across hundreds of acres of field and woods, an area that had been devastated by another fire a decade ago. Firemen from Blaine, Spring Lake Park, and Mounds View faced a fire that crackled politely one moment, then roared into a smoking wall the next, all the time moving in several directions.
I can use all the help I can get.
Blaine Fire Chief Jerry Simon calls for help.
Scott, you want to pick this up and head down? We've got those businesses down there. Let's start backfiring as much as we can, and then We'll go from there.
The gusts of wind pushing the fire were countered by blasts from the water cannons. Chief Simon watched and worried about their ability to keep the fire from jumping roads like Naples Street and 95th Avenue. The Department of Natural Resources brought in helicopters with water bombs to help the ground crews fight this fire. The aerial assault on the flames turned the tide of battle in favor of the firemen. Homes and businesses were spared. The fire did not cross the roads. Alan Costantini, News 11, Blaine.
The fire in Blaine has been declared out, but some firefighters are still on the scene putting out hot spots. This afternoon, authorities rushed away from that fire when someone in a red car was seen waving a gun. State troopers stopped the car and took 2 young men into custody and recovered a plastic water pistol. Charges are pending. Firefighters told News 11 many of the fires have been set intentionally, and they urge onlookers to stay away from these fires so officials aren't distracted. Kirsten?
Brooklyn Park firefighters were quickly able to control the grass fire there that broke out near Zane Avenue. Flames tore through dry grass and trees, charring about 50 acres. No homes were threatened, and several crews were called to hose down hot spots. The fiery day turned into a fiery evening at a farm between Chaska and Cologne tonight. The property was destroyed and 1 firefighter was injured. Our team report continues now with News 11's Melissa Young, who tells us this fire started in some hay in storage and quickly spread.
The devastation is virtually complete. Jeff Pike and his family could only stand by and watch as the farm that has been their home for the past 8 years went up in smoke.
5 minutes. I mean, it was gone. The barn was completely full of flames. I mean, you couldn't even get up to the house, it was so hot.
Jeff suffered second-degree burns to his hand trying to knock down the fire. Before it was over, 5 buildings were severely damaged or destroyed. Only a few household items could be salvaged.
Hell of a good save right there. I mean, the upstairs is gutted, but he's got the stuff down below. It's water and smoke, but there he got a little something there.
Firefighters from Chaska, Cologne, and Carver all helped knock down the fire. Investigators say something apparently ignited a pile of straw in the barn.
That's the straw I just put in there a couple days ago. No, that was up to, about 6 feet high.
Yeah, but we got to have a source where the hell it's coming from.
The exact cause is still under investigation. Melissa Young, News 11, near Cologne.
The Pike family and their 3 children were inside their home when the fire broke out. All escaped unharmed, and fire investigators are still on the scene at this hour.
One of the largest grass fires of the season swept through 4,000 acres in Baudette in extreme northwestern Minnesota. 3 air tankers and 2 helicopters were sent to the border town this afternoon, and tonight the fire is dying down. And another grass fire outside Little Falls damaged 2 buildings. The damage wasn't heavy, but the DNR did send in a helicopter to control the blaze. Meantime, across the state, the risk of grass fires is very high, and in a large area west of Duluth, burning is strictly forbidden. Elsewhere, the state is under a grass fire watch. In Wisconsin, the DNR is keeping an eye on conditions there. The fire danger is very high in northern Wisconsin. In central areas, the risk is moderate to high. Those using fire are urged to be extremely cautious. And as much warmer and dry weather approaches, the risk remains high for our area.
Paul Douglas joins us right now with more on what makes these conditions so very dangerous. Paul.
Kirsten, Paul, obviously weather is going to be critical over the next few days, and I fear the weather conditions are going to get a little worse before they get better. Residents of Southern California who are now living in Minnesota probably feel right at home. This is very similar to a Santa Ana situation, most commonly found in Southern California during the autumn months. Hot, dry winds, fanning brush fires. We have all the ingredients for more trouble over the next few days. Specifically, bright sunshine, low humidity, gusty winds could top 30 miles an hour by Saturday and Sunday, dry foliage, and hundreds of thousands of people making plans to be outdoors with barbecues, you name it. I'm also somewhat concerned about folks, frankly, just watering their lawn. Thousands of them now are trying to make their lawns greener, and that could lower water pressure in hydrants and increase the fire danger and increase the potential for disaster in parts of Minnesota by late Saturday and Sunday. Here's the trouble. Look how hot it got to the south and west, a huge chunk of 80s. That air mass is headed our way. We will see highs here in the mid-80s by Saturday. Temperatures may be up near 80 on Sunday. And Paul and Kirsten, the first chance of relief late Sunday and Monday. Just a chance at this point of showers, maybe cooling off a few degrees early next week. But for the next 48 hours, folks should be very, very careful where they put their cigarette butts and discarded matches.
Let common sense be your guide.
All right,
There you go.
thank you very much. Thousands of acres of forest land are destroyed tonight in Louisiana. Firefighters have been on the scene in the Kisatchie National Forest battling the fire while looking for the cause. The fire, which has charred more than 2,500 acres, is also threatening wildlife. Dry conditions are making matters worse. Meantime, heavy rains have doused North Carolina, and today the storms turned forests and farmland into waterways. Bridges and roads have been washed away by the downpours, and many basements were flooded. The floods are being blamed for at least 3 deaths.
Water levels in lakes around Minnesota are way below normal tonight. Lake Minnetonka is 9 inches below average. Some trash is beginning to wash up on shore because of the low levels, and boaters are being forced to alter their course.
The water was so low around in the channels where before you can take a boat in of any size.
Fishermen who frequent that area say they've never seen the lake so low.
Heavy fog delayed the official arrival of the first ocean-going ship today in Duluth. The Polish vessel is anchored tonight just outside the harbor. The captain will wait until Sunday to venture into the Twin Ports. Another ocean-going ship is expected to arrive Saturday, weather permitting. Pea soup weather in the Twin Cities slowed down traffic along the freeways this morning. The fog socked in rush hour motorists, hampered by limited visibility. The fog also slowed down travelers at the airport as well.
Motorists who use the Central Avenue Bridge in Minneapolis will have to find another way to work tomorrow morning. Crews are tearing the cement and steel beams from the bridge. They'll be replaced with new material. Hunks of cement clutter both approaches to the bridge, which will be closed until November. And newspapers made a real mess of Highway 12 this afternoon. A truck carrying the papers didn't have the safety chain latched on the back door, so newspapers scattered in all directions. The papers were being taken to a recycling plant.
The Minneapolis Police Department tonight awarded its highest honor to the wife of the late Officer David Mack. The department's Medal of Valor was handed over to Marlise Mack, who was at her husband's side through 7 years of therapy. Mack, who died last year, was seriously injured while on the job. The coveted award was presented in the department's 21st annual ceremony, and we congratulate Mrs. Mack.
Still ahead tonight on News 11, a huge power outage puts Robbinsdale in the dark.
Plus, the president paves the way for an arms agreement.
And later on News 11 Extra, a man accused of being a one-person crime spree is nabbed by police. We'll be right back.
Leading the race in high performance, Eaton Chevrolet. Big Wheel Rossi is having an auto parts sale, and everyone's stocking up on the huge selection of parts, including Motorcraft oil, oil filters, and spark plugs. Exceed the need with Motorcraft quality parts. And add a set of J-Mark Universal running boards to your truck, van, or 4x4. They're only $39.99.
Sir, why do you shop at Big Wheel Rossi?
Well, Nancy says it's an executive privilege.
During the Crimean War, more British soldiers were dying in hospitals than on battlefields. Filth and squalor took a deadly toll until one woman arrived from England and single-handedly reshaped military medical care. Florence Nightingale gave the world a new kind of hospital dedicated to compassion and sacrifice. Her spirit still lives today in the nurses and doctors of United Hospital, St. Paul's Hospital.
Billy, I see us in the backyard playing, just you and I. You were king and I was queen in our treehouse in the sky. And now that all our younger years drift into yesterday, I want you to remember.
Hello. Hi, Billy. Guess who?
Hey, sis. How are
I
you?
won't drift away.
Tonight, 1,500 power customers in Robbinsdale are in the dark. Just about an hour ago, power was knocked out in a large section of Robbinsdale near Terrace Mall. North Memorial Hospital had to go to auxiliary power and told News 11 its patients are just fine. We have a crew on the scene, and we'll have more on the story on News 11 Sunrise.
Marine Sergeant Clayton Lonetree of St. Paul has been given a 3-week break in his pre-trial hearings on espionage charges. Lonetree and his lawyers left the court in Quantico, Virginia today after the delay was granted, saying they would not be back until May 11th. The defense requested the delay after the Navy introduced new evidence against Lone Tree. He's accused of passing U.S. secrets to the Russians while assigned to the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Encouraging news tonight from President Reagan, who says an arms control agreement is not far away. The president made the announcement shortly after he was briefed by the Secretary of State tonight in Santa Barbara. Mr. Reagan says Shultz's talks with the Russians narrowed the gap in the differences between the two superpowers. Still no word tonight on a summit.
Another chapter tonight in the insider trading scandal, and that story tops Datelines. In New York City, prominent stockbroker Boyd Jeffries pled guilty today to a scheme allowing insider trader Ivan Boesky to cover up his holdings. 3 other executives pled not guilty in connection with the insider trading deals. In Los Angeles, Gary Hart's presidential campaign has suffered a blow. Federal marshals today seized $50,000 in campaign contributions raised by the former senator at a fundraiser last night. The money was seized because Hart still owes more than $1 million from his last presidential bid. And in Philadelphia, excitement at the home of a woman who's one of the winners of Pennsylvania's biggest state lottery ever. The $26 million will be split among 48 people who shared the 2 winning tickets. One woman says she'll use the money to send her kids to private schools.
Hey.
Not a bad payment.
Oh, my gosh. Mixed bag, huh, with the weather?
I don't know whether to call this good news or bad news. I guess a little of both. A lot of folks looking forward to basking in the sun over the next few days. A lot of folks have off tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. And the weather's going to be great for that, but again, with this brush fire threat. It's going to be nice, though. It's going to feel like summer. It's going to feel like August. You'll have a chance to fiddle with your favorite air conditioner, show off your elbows and kneecaps. It's going to border on hot here by tomorrow. And yes, technically, you can call this a drought. We went back through the weather records, which date back to the 1830s. Do you realize since October the 14th of last year, we should have seen 7.2 inches of precipitation. We've only seen a third of that. Only 2.7 inches of wetness has fallen on the Twin Cities. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means we're in big trouble. It means it's the driest 6-month spell since 1881, the 4th driest on record. And again, according to Bruce Watson, those records date back to the 1830s. Yes, it is a drought. When you think of drought, for the most part, you think of summer months, hot, dry sunshine temperatures in the 90s. Our drought happened to occur over the winter. A lot of scientists are blaming it on a mild El Nino, a strange puddle of unusually warm ocean water off Central America, which caused the jet stream to take a detour. That detour left our winds blowing out of the west to northwest. That's a dry flow. What we need is a moist flow from the Gulf to squeeze out some showers and thunderstorms. No chance of that happening before late Sunday and Monday. And again, the brush fire threat may get a little worse before it gets better early next week. Earlier today, it sure did feel good out there. 75 degrees after the fog burnt off, a low of 38, no precip. Your sunrise and sunset before you. Partly cloudy and 61 right now, a northwesterly breeze at 6, the dew point 29, the humidity 30, and the barometer now on the rise. Let's crank up Loop 11. It's that special, magical time of the evening. We can show you high cirrus clouds at about 25,000 feet approaching from the Dakotas. They will dim the sun from time to time tomorrow, but they will not take the luster off an otherwise gorgeous Good Friday. Temperatures tomorrow coming close to 80 degrees. Let's check the big map, show you what's happening around the nation. High pressure will be in control. A big bubble of warm, dry air. It's just going to pump the heat northward. And again, it's going to feel like the dead of summer by Saturday. I wouldn't be shocked to see a 90 somewhere in Iowa or even southwestern Minnesota. Maybe some 90-degree temperatures. Super radar picking up quite a bit of goo, continuing to thrash the East Coast. Flood watches, coastal flood warnings in effect for coastal Virginia. Many roads washed out here. Very wet in the east. While look to the west of Minnesota, nothing to speak of precipitation-wise. Temperatures falling through the 60s at this hour under starshine. Still quite mild to our south and west. And the map tomorrow is going to show a beautiful day. Bright sunshine, upper 70s to near 80. Here is the cool front that could arrive with a few precious showers along about Sunday afternoon or Monday. The 11 Outlook is coming up next.
The best price on the used car or truck you want is right behind this button. At Northtown Nissan, we have the largest used car and truck inventory in our 10-year history. Over 100 used cars and trucks must go, and that means drastic sale prices, low down payments, and low monthly payments to fit any budget. So before you buy anywhere else, shop the used car inventory reduction sale at Northtown Nissan in Fridley. Our prices will never be lower. 'Cause we're good people too. Northtown Nissan, good people in Fridley.
Get a grip on your work with the Servest 3-piece solid joint pliers set. In April, it's just $5.99. Look for the banner at participating True Value hardware stores.
When I decided to work temporary, I registered with 3 services. I thought one service alone wouldn't be able to keep me that busy. Well, I was wrong. At Dolphin, it's nice to know I can count on the hours I want every week.
Dolphin Temporary Services. Work for us, and you work for the finest companies in Minnesota.
For over 12 years, the Sound Centers have specialized in Sony because Sony is the best. And the Sound Centers offer knowledgeable help in choosing from over 500 Sony products. Here's just one: a 13-inch Sony with remote, $299. Or a big 27-inch Trinitron with remote, $699. Here's a Sony camcorder, remarkable, and just $699. Expert help with the best selection and the lowest Sony price. Get it all at the Sound Centers.
Stay. Okay, good. I got a call from a weather spy about an hour ago. She complained about being red and puffy. Here she had been hibernating all winter long and today decided to bask out in the sun, and she is now in pain, a severe case of sunburn. Be very, very careful. That sun now is packing quite a wallop. And I think as a lot of folks migrate, escape to their favorite lake, they're going to be in for quite a surprise. Take along the sunscreen. The forecast for tonight looks pretty good. Partly cloudy skies, 44 to 49. Tomorrow, warm sunshine despite a few high clouds, 76 to 81. 84 on Saturday, hot and sunny. Sunday, clouds increase, a chance of a thunder shower late in the day, Easter 79. Then it cools off a little behind that Pacific front down to 68, which is still 15 degrees above normal. What can I say? It's just going to be your typical run-of-the-mill, summerish type weekend, and it just happens to fall on a holiday, which makes it even sweeter. Paul and Kirsten?
Yeah, you can actually go wander around in public.
Yeah.
Yeah, hear cheers instead of fistfights breaking out wherever you go.
We should point out this is not a disguise, okay?
No, that will be you out and about this
unfortunately,
weekend.
Yeah.
We'll
See you later. Tonight, a call for greater cooperation in serving the poor and minorities in Minneapolis. The plea came during the Urban League's annual dinner tonight. The league brings together groups who serve minorities in the Twin Cities.
Still ahead on News 11, the fight for life continues for a boy lucky to be alive.
And crowds flock to the zoo to see an attraction whose days are numbered. We'll be right back.
Towsley Ford's Grand Slam Cellathon 800 rolls on with our biggest truck sale ever. The best-selling vehicle in the world, full-size F-150 pickups, just $79.95. Heavy-duty payload, electronic fuel injection, gauges, power steering, power brakes, a great interior, and much more, just $79.95. That's a Towsley discount of $2,862. And on top of low prices, we have special financing available. Choose your pickup from one of the largest truck inventories in America, all clearly marked with Grand Slam Cellathon 800 prices. No matter where you live, it's worth a trip to Towsley, White Bear Lake.
Mobil One Synthetic Motor Oil. No matter what you drive, or how you drive, or where you drive, or what conditions you drive under. With Mobil Synthetic Oil technology, there's no finer engine protection anywhere. Save up to $3 on Mobil oils and up to $19 on all these products at participating Mobil stations and leading retailers.
Nature knows no shortcuts. Perfection takes time. So we give nature the time to make old-style beer perfect. With the slow, expensive method of double brewing called krausening for smoothness and drinkability. Nature's way takes much longer. But after all, there are no shortcuts to being the best. Heileman's Old Style, America's best brewed premium beer.
Here at the Light FM, FM 103, WLTE, people write to tell us that they love to relax with our soft and light songs. WLTE plays only the best of Streisand, Mathis, Diamond, Love on the Rocks, Billy Joel, and more. All back to back with less talk, just relaxing songs to sing along with. On the Light FM 103, WLTE.
Tonight, the world's youngest artificial heart patient continues to wait for a human heart. 15-year-old Christopher Larson is still in critical but stable condition at Abbott Northwestern Hospital in Minneapolis. The Wisconsin boy hasn't been able to move the right side of his body since receiving the mechanical heart last week.
Tonight, 3-year-old Joey Keller is fighting for his life after spending more than an hour and a half trapped underwater. Joey and his brother were playing near a watery mine pit when both fell in. Today, the 3 men who rescued the boys say they were amazed to find Joey alive.
We just gave the kid the best shot we could, and things fell in the right place.
The rescuers say this is the longest anyone has spent underwater and still survived.
Big Mouth's days are numbered at the Minnesota Zoo. The beluga whale and his mate Little Girl will be flown to San Diego soon, where experts hope to find a cure for Big Mouth's threatening illness. Jeanette Harrison reports on the crowds at the zoo today, getting what may be their last glimpse of the star attractions.
The reason they're going down there is for health purposes.
The phones were ringing off the hook at the Minnesota Zoo today, people wanting to know all about the beluga whales.
There's Little Girl! There's Big Mouth and Little Girl! Over there!
Beluga fans also clamored around the whale tank at feeding time. Zoo personnel believe Big Mouth, the larger whale, is dying of a bone disease. He and his mate will be sent to SeaWorld in San Diego soon so that Big Mouth can be treated. Many zoo fans know this may be their last chance to say goodbye.
They were really excited about it. They wanted to see him one last time.
We wanted to be sure and see them again before they go.
Will you miss them?
I will, yeah.
Zoo officials say they are sending both whales away because Little Girl pines and refuses to eat without her mate. While there is little hope for Big Mouth's recovery, Minnesota will continue to own Little Girl, keeping alive hopes that one day she could come home. Jeanette Harrison, News 11 at the Minnesota Zoo.
Zoo officials say replacing Big Mouth and Little Girl would cost $75,000, and the zoo is facing cutbacks previously recommended by the governor.
At the Washington National Zoo today, there was celebration. The zoo's giant pandas munched on some special greens as the zoo celebrated the 15th anniversary of the arrival of Ling Ling and Sing Sing. Carrots were brought in for the occasion, and there's speculation that Ling Ling, now that may be Ling Ling right there, I don't know. That could be Sing Sing. Anyway, there's speculation that Ling Ling might be pregnant.
Is that right?
Tough to tell apart.
Seem to hear that every spring, don't we? Coming up in sports, the Minnesota Vikings named some of the college players they might like in a Vikes uniform.
And in hockey, one of the North Stars' arch rivals is eliminated from the playoffs while another advances. Tom Ryder will have that when we come right back.
What's your excuse for not losing weight?
I love to eat.
Great! With Weight Watchers' new improved Quick Start Plus plan, you can enjoy all your favorite foods. From egg rolls to eclairs, pizza to pancakes, even a dish of ice cream, and still lose weight faster and easier than ever.
Maybe I'll start my diet next week.
Why wait? Right now, you can join Weight Watchers for only $10. You've just run out of excuses. Call Weight Watchers now.
When someone in your family has a serious accident or illness, you want to be prepared with the Family Health Care Plan from American Family Insurance. It's a major medical policy with co-insurance features, various deductibles, and policy limits up to $1 million. You know the most you'll have to pay before you buy the policy. The Family Health Care Plan.
American Family Insurance.
Look in the white or yellow pages for the American Family agent nearest you.
This new rock music, I mean, I don't get it. It's just noise. And that dentist's office music, now that's boring. So I'm dialing around on the radio, and I found a station that I really liked. And guess what? It's country. Boy, have I changed. Boy, has country music changed.
Discover the new country music on K102 FM.
No one but Ford gives you 3.9 APR financing or cash back on America's best-built, best-selling trucks. 3.9 or $600 cash back on full-sized F-Series pickups. 3.9 or $600 cash back on sporty 4x4 or 4x2 Bronco 2s. 3.9 or $500 cash back on fun, tough Ford Rangers and Ranger Super Cabs. Buy a new Ford pickup now and get a Ford Bedliner for only $109. Only at your nearby Northland Ford dealers.
Tonight, some dirty business at the St. Paul Civic Center. This afternoon, the gates dropped as qualifying heats for tonight's Pro-Am motocross event got underway. The top drivers in the country are riding in tonight's race. 2,800 tons of dirt had to be hauled in to make the track.
What a rugged sport that is.
That is rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Tom Ryther's here now. The Twins sort of have the night off. They played their AAA ball club. The Strikers are resting tonight, so
right.
you're going to talk football.
That's right. Kind of a break. Kind of gives us, because the draft isn't that far away. The Vikings will draft in the 16th position during the NFL draft, and Coach Jerry Burns and his staff have some definite thoughts on where their priorities lie. Coach Jerry Burns says the team's main thoughts center on beefing up the defensive line and defensive positions. Jerry also does not rule out trying to get a quality linebacker if that turns out to be the case. Scouting reports show that Miami's Brown and Dan Noonan seem to be a pair of names that have caught the Vikings' attention in that defensive line. And if by chance Rod Woodson or Tim McDonald are available, the Vikings would certainly be interested in them if there is no help in the defensive line. The Vikings like linebackers Cornelius Bennett of Alabama, but everybody likes him, along with Shane Connell of Penn State. And Brian Bosworth of Oklahoma could go in the lottery supplemental draft, but that would be strictly a matter of luck if anybody gets him. The Vikings like running backs Brent Fullwood of Auburn and Kenny Flowers out of Clemson. At fullback, Alonzo Highsmith of Miami gets very high marks. With only 2 quarterbacks, the Vikings would consider a quarterback if Oregon's Chris Miller is available in the early rounds. They like him best. They also like Jim Harbaugh of Michigan and Cody Carlson of Baylor. And so much for the drawing board, because the real maneuvering begins early on the morning of April the 28th. In the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, Toronto wrapped up their best-of-7 Norris Division semifinal series tonight, beating St. Louis 4-0. In that game tonight, as we watch the action, Toronto leading 1-0 in the third period. Bill Root converts a St. Louis mistake and makes it 2-0 right there past Greg Millen. A few moments later, Russ Curtin all but ended any hope for the Blues' comeback with this really tough angle shot right there. Toronto wins the game. As we go to the scoreboard, they win it by a score of 4-0. The Leafs will be at Detroit, and that will start on Monday in that final series in that division, in the Norris Division. Adams Division, Quebec over Hartford, so Quebec wins it, and they will go against Montreal in the finals of that division. In the Smythe Division, Winnipeg wins it. They defeated Calgary 6-1. Not good news for Badger Bob Johnson fans. And the Jets will now advance in the playoffs. In the Patrick Division, Philadelphia over the New York Rangers, and that means now that Philadelphia wins that series. The Islanders over Washington, the series tied 3-3, and Game 7 will be Saturday in Washington. Well, the Twins played an exhibition game with their Portland Farm team tonight. In fact, they are still playing out on the coast. Tomorrow night, they will be in Anaheim, opening a weekend series with California. The Twins lead the Angels by a game in the American League West. Today in baseball, as we check the scoreboard, Cleveland at Baltimore rained out. Oakland and Seattle, Oakland leading 3-0 in the third. We have Toronto over Boston. Jimmy Key gets the win. And in that ball game, well, a cold night. Look at that. I mean, is that cold? That cold air coming off of Lake Ontario. That was umpire Ken Kaiser. In the 6th inning, Jesse Barfield bounces that one off there. And Roger Clemens gets the loss. He's now 0-2 as Toronto beats the Boston Red Sox. In the National League, we go to the scoreboard now. Pittsburgh over the Chicago Cubs. Montreal beats St. Louis. In other games now, it's San Diego over Los Angeles. Gwynn had 5 hits in that game for San Diego. And the New York Mets over Philadelphia 9-3. Darryl Strawberry now has 5 home runs. So there you have it.
All right, Tommy, thank you very much. Still ahead, a string of frightening crimes may have come to an end.
One suspect seen robbing a number of businesses is in jail tonight. We'll tell you how he got there next on The Extra.
Okay, honey, I think we're ready.
Warning, if this holiday season you find yourself constantly entertaining, then you should know about Super Value's Holiday Alert Sale, where everything you need is on sale.
Entertain with these savings. 3-pound butternut coffee, $5.69, and Tropicana orange juice, regular or homestyle, 79 cents. Orlando Lakes orange juice, by the carton, $1.19.
Before you're eating out of house and home,
Okay, next shift.
come to Super Value's Holiday Alert Sale.
Cherokee Power Equipment's huge volume saves you money on Snapper mowers. Your choice of 20 different Snapper mowers. Just look at these prices. Snapper 21-inch high-vac push mower priced under $300, or the self-propelled 21-inch under $400. Add to this Cherokee Power Equipment's 30, 60, 90-day no-interest financing, plus Cherokee's quality service department, and you can see why Cherokee is the only place to buy your Snapper mower. Most importantly, Cherokee's huge volume saves you money. Cherokee Power Equipment, 63rd and Boone Avenue North in Brooklyn Park.
So you think you've heard everything. How about Bush and Stevenson?
Unforgivable.
BS in the morning on WDGY.
At a recent Buick Motor Division meeting with your better Buick dealers, it was determined that a record 2,300 car inventory must be reduced by April 30th. So a major commitment was made. This commitment plus current factory incentives will cost Buick Motor Division and your better Buick dealers millions of dollars. Which means now through April 30th, Buick buyers could save millions of dollars. Maybe you should make a commitment to see your better Buick dealer before April 30th.
String of armed robbery cases in Minneapolis may be solved tonight. Charges are filed against a suspect held in 3 holdups, and police say the man they're holding tonight is a suspect in at least 5 other stick-ups. In tonight's News 11 Extra, Bernie Grace reports on how the suspect was arrested and on the victims of these crimes.
While an accomplice held a cashier at gunpoint, police say Edward Blomquist scooped the money from the till. Blomquist, according to police, worked with a partner sometimes. Other times, he was by himself pulling off holdups. Police say Blomquist hit as many as 6 targets in a 2-week period. One of his targets was this convenience store and gas station. The night clerk says Blomquist ordered customers down on the floor and held a gun on an 11-year-old boy.
After that, he came and just pointed right up to my head and just told me to empty the cash register. So it was, I didn't want to give up the money, but what do you do?
For store clerks, holdups are a constant threat. After being confronted with a gun, some clerks call it quits. Still others have come to accept it as part of the job. Reed Olson has been held up a variety of ways.
By knife point and gun point. I've been sprayed in the eyes with mace. I get in a lot of hassles that night. It goes on.
While police say Blomquist is responsible for at least 8 holdups in Minneapolis, they say in one robbery he made off with nothing. Because according to police, a female clerk drove Blomquist out of the store by throwing a candy jar at him. In Minneapolis, Bernie Grace, News 11.
Blomquist is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow morning.
And Paul Douglas is going to give us the last word on the weather tonight.
And it's good news if you're a summer weather lover. I think you'll like this forecast. Tomorrow, sunshine through high clouds, a high temperature close to 80 degrees. We're looking at 84 Saturday, hot sunshine. Easter Sunday should start out sunny and bright, but clouds will increase. Maybe a shower or a thunder shower by late in the day, up to 78. Tomas?
All right, Mounds View upset top-ranked Armstrong and second-ranked Stillwater in high school track this afternoon. We have some video from that. Tim Roach led Mounds View by winning the quarter mile on the 200. He also anchored the first-place mile relay team. Mounds View finished with a total of 84 points, Stillwater at 81, Armstrong 63, and fourth-place Blaine with 53. That guy can scoot. There he is. Nice. And that's it for our sports today.
Nice.
High school track's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Great legs.
You're right. Thank you. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.
Not me.
For 3.9% financing. Last chance for cash back. Time's running out. That's your Greater Metropolitan Pontiac dealer. Now's your last chance to get 3.9% GMAC financing on any new Pontiac you buy. Or your last chance to buy or lease and get up to $1,200 cash back depending on model and equipment. You must take actual retail delivery from dealer stock by April 30th. 3.9% financing or cash back. Now's your last chance at your Greater Metropolitan Pontiac dealers.
From the hot hits to the new hot toppers at Burger King.
Hot toppers? Never heard of
For only 99 cents, a flame broiled cheeseburger topped with tender sliced mushrooms and melted Swiss.
That's under $1, Mike.
Or topped with bacon and barbecue sauce.
It's less than $1, Mike.
Or the new ham and cheese hot topper, all for only 99 cents at Burger King.
Your call, Mike.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. Can I help you?
No thanks, just passing through.
Now at Burger King for only 99 cents, the new hot toppers for limited time only.
Burger King, the best food for fast times.
Here at the Light FM, FM 103, WLTE, people write to tell us that they love to relax with our soft and light songs. WLTE plays only the best of Streisand, Mathis, Diamond,
Love on the Rocks,
Billy Joel, and more. All back to back with less talk, just relaxing songs to sing along with. On the Light FM 103, WLTE.
For over 12 years, the Sound Centers have specialized in Sony.
Because Sony is the best. And the Sound Centers offer knowledgeable help in choosing from over 500 Sony products. Here's just one. A 13-inch Sony with remote, $299. Or a big 27-inch Trinitron with remote, $699. Here's a Sony camcorder, remarkable, and just $699. Expert help with the best selection and the lowest Sony price. Get it all at the Sound Centers.
You're watching KARE, Minneapolis, St. Paul.